What's up, gamers? DreamcastGuy here, and today we have to talk about Cyberpunk 2077 because the game is just leaked. Not just screenshots, not just like developer notes. The entire game has managed to slip out about 2.5 weeks early. Now, this is some massive news. This is actually one of the biggest gaming leaks, and it's kind of crazy, but let's break down what's happening. Now, there's not going to be any spoilers in this video, and in fact, I'm not going to talk too much about the people that are posting this stuff, but let's look at what was in fact leaked. So here's a screenshot. It seems like what's happening is, it seems like maybe somebody managed to get a hold of a shipment of PlayStation 4 copies of the game. Every leak I've seen so far has been on the PlayStation 4, and all the box art and stuff, people that are posting pictures, it's all been this PS4 copy. Now if you notice here, it is 2 Blu-ray discs. Now we've seen this in a couple of games recently, like the Final Fantasy VII Remake and stuff, and usually the way they do this is there's an install disc, and then of course there's the play disc, and this is basically their way of trying to cram in even more giant, great HD assets and side quests and stuff in a much more readable format. Now here's something I enjoy: PlayStation 5 upgrade available. Now of course this gets me excited. I absolutely love my PlayStation 5. Here's my PS5 right here. Already I have to say, one of the things I love most about my PlayStation 5, and part of the reason it's almost kind of hard to go back to playing my Nintendo Switch and stuff, is the solid-state hard drive. In a game that's going to be this freaking massive, where I am going to be driving around in cars and trying to blow up, bases and stuff like that, I want everything to be as instantaneously as possible. I am glad I'm going to be playing this on my PlayStation 5. Now, I know that some people may be concerned about the fact that stuff is leaking. I want to make it clear, I think that this game is going to be enormous. I don't think that there can be spoilers about this, because the main thing is that it is one of those games where your journey through it is what makes it fun. Like this guy here, this is Lukas Babel. Oh god, I probably butchered this poor Polish man's name, but he is the lead QA tester for CD Projekt Red. He's the guy who basically is in charge of making sure he finds all the bugs in Cyberpunk before you and I play it. Well, he has been obviously testing the game for probably years now, and he posted this screenshot, which is very interesting. So this is the beginning of the tutorial. This is basically at the very start of the game. You choose your faction. This is public knowledge. He's not leaking anything here, but he basically posted, here's him choosing the Nomad, then here's his Nomad playtime. Let that sink in. 175 hours for a single playthrough. Now, this is one playthrough. He actually makes it clear. I decided to read through some of this guy's replies. This is 175 hours in one playthrough. And he says that right here. Someone says, oh, that's your completionist time? Not really. This is just one of my ongoing slow-paced playthroughs on the hardest difficulty, where I play more stealthy than usual, loot everything, and use every feature the game has to offer. I take my time, winky face. 175 hours. The reason I'm basically saying this is if you're afraid of, oh no, they're going to ruin the experience by leaking pictures or something like that, this isn't that kind of game. This is going to be Witcher 4 in the future. It's going to be something that's about you crafting your own journey with your own characters. Now let's talk about what the leak itself is. So here's an article over on Screen Rant, kind of breaking things down. First, Cyberpunk 2077 PS4 gameplay has leaked online. Now, before we even read their breakdown, I do kind of just want to look at this stuff. Here's the biggest thing. I'll just admit it. I looked at the leaked gameplay. It's pretty bad. Like, the game itself looks good, but the person who was playing the game, they were streaming it directly from the PlayStation 4, so the visual quality wasn't very good, and it seemed like the guy was possibly high on methamphetamine, or he'd smoked a bunch of like dumbass juice or something, because he was extremely bad at the game. It was not a very good display of the gameplay, but let's actually look at their breakdown of it. PlayStation 4 gameplay from Cyberpunk 2077, the most anticipated release of the year, has surfaced online, as has become an even more grand tradition ever since game consoles gained streaming functionality. The lucky few that benefit from leaked copies of the video game have decided to share a wealth of playthroughs of the opening bits of audience. This inevitably happens with the release of games. Okay, but here's the thing. I want to scroll down here for a bit. The footage from this outlaw stream... which is a funny way of putting it, that the person, I do think that technically buying the game early is illegal, maybe. You know what? Copyright law is weird in America, but here we go. For now, the footage of this outlawed stream of Cyberpunk 2077 is preserved on the web, shared by Twisted Voxel. The video has been posted and banned by several more run-of-the-mill hosting websites, and the mirror displayed anytime. Now, this article goes on to basically talk about the fact that there is a lot of stuff that's already online and known about this game. Recently, websites like GameSpot and even places like, I think, Kotaku and stuff have technically played the first 16 hours of the game itself, and this is barely a scratch on the surface. But it's been funny watching this leaker specifically play it because he is just such a trash can. There is some voiceover from the internet's favorite leaker the day of the footage posting. At one point, he states that he needs to call his homeboys, presumably to alert him to his online misdeeds. Oh my gosh. As with happens with any highly anticipated video game hitting the wild, spoiler-conscious players are advertised to keep alert for potential experience ruining screenshots and factoids. Players have been having their gaming slightly upended by poorly thought out boss fight thumbnails or a maliciously minded forum poster. Okay, so getting past this article for a second, let me just tell you my opinion, which is that I don't really see this as a negative. Like, I have seen some people already telling me, DreamcastGuy, why are you even looking at the leaks, bro? Don't even look, just cover your eyes and walk away from the internet. Here's the thing, I don't care about spoilers in general. I mean, it sometimes sucks to learn that like a character dies or some sort of like crazy weird event happened with like a sequel I care about. But most importantly, I'm just curious about the gameplay of Cyberpunk. Now that I've watched it, now that I've seen this complete moron play 20 minutes of the game, I'm even more excited about it. Watching him crash his car into a fence and completely suck, it makes me excited to play the game myself because, you know what, I want to see how the game is played correctly. I am going to be buying this, I am going to be doing my own review, and I am going to be just playing the heck out of it on my PlayStation 5 because I am that freaking hyped. But I guess we're going to find out more about the game very, very soon. The main reason I'm doing this video is just as a spoiler warning, because I do want you guys to be aware that people are probably going to try and just make the most crazy, out-of-context content. I think that the story is going to be great, but imagine if you were playing a Witcher game and you just randomly saw a clip of Geralt being stabbed with a pitchfork. With absolutely no context, that would be shocking and very, very, disrupting, but it doesn't really make sense out of context. I do think that there is going to be a lot of clips and stuff circulating on the internet that are very, very bizarre. Don't pay attention. Even if they look bad, even if it's whatever, don't pay attention to it. The last thing I do want to mention is that the visual downgrade. So now that this leak is coming out, I have seen some people a little bit shocked as to how the game looks on a standard PlayStation 4. The game is only running on a PS4 right now. We haven't seen anything of like PS4 Pro gameplay or anything like that. And I have seen people talking about, oh man, it's a visual downgrade. I think that this is still targeting what is now basically last gen tech. They're trying to get this thing to run on the big ol' Xbox. Like, actually, I have one here. Like, here's the issue. They need to run on an ancient Xbox and also a PlayStation 5, and it has to run good on both, and it also needs to be able to run on PCs with a super crazy graphics card in them. So CD Projekt Red is being forced to shoot the widest net possible. So is this particular gameplay not super HD? Is it kind of just meh? Yes, the textures aren't super sparkling, but I'm curious to see how this game is going to look when I play it as soon as possible. Maybe I will pick up the PC version. Perhaps this will be one of those games where I buy multiple copies on all the different consoles because I do want to see what it looks like on PC and Xbox Series X and everything. But what do you guys think? Are you still excited for Cyberpunk? Are you nervous about these leaks? Tell your thoughts in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, share with your friends, and subscribe if you haven't already. But do me the biggest favor of all and keep dreaming. I gotta donate that to a children's hospital. Thanks so much for watching that video. If you want to see something else, you can always click this link to see what I put up last, or, subscribe and see what's coming up next. Also, I promise that whatever I do, it'll try not to suck.